week. It's time for another episode. I don't know why I start this podcast rolling and all of a sudden I turn into a whole nother person. It's like the inside of me just wants to bust out. It's the Leo. This podcast activates the Leo in me, y'all. And I like it. Welcome, y'all. This has been the craziest season of podcasting ever. Not because of the podcast. The podcast. Oh, wait a minute. What is this? It's my Big Week podcast mug. Renisha bought me this. Isn't it so cute? Don't you want one? It's pink on the inside. It's so cute. All right. Hello and welcome to episode 4 of season 6 of the Big Week podcast. I feel like I have a lot to say today. I feel like really what's happening. Let me tell you what happened. I've been traveling a lot like all year. I told y'all that before. I've been traveling so much on a plane every week. I'm really out here really working hard to raise money and really working hard to build support for our work in Memphis and in the South, and really working hard to help people understand the connection between culture and the economy and how we can leverage our inherent cultural assets for our own wellness and for our economic wellness and for the wellness of the cities and the communities that we live in. That's what I've been doing this whole time on a plane every day going somewhere. Week before last, I was in 3 cities in 1 week. It was the 3Ds. I was like, what is this? Diners, drive-ins, and dives? Where would I go? Oh, I went to DC, I went to Detroit, and then I went to Denver all in 6 days, 2 weeks ago. But last week, I spent the week in New York. I was there for most of the week, so I got to slow down. I also made a decision. It was not my decision. It was my friend Susan's decision. I was talking to her. I was like, running. I'm going to have this last meeting. I'm going to go home. And she was like, why don't you just stay an extra couple days and just have a robust retreat? And I was like, a robust retreat? That sounds amazing. So I stayed in New York from Wednesday to Sunday. And my commitment to myself was to have all of my meetings, but have as much fun as I had work. So I went to a show every night that I was in New York for 4 or 5 days. And I feel like y'all know how much I love. First of all, I was born in New York, so it was wonderful to be home. Second of all, everybody, if you listen to this podcast for half a season, by now I'm a theater nerd and a museum nerd and all those things. And so, New York is the center of all those things. And so the first night I went to go see, remember last season 5, we talked about Pearly Victorious and that woman, Kara, who was a co-star, who was phenomenal, so funny. Well, she has a show out right now called Table 17, and that was ridiculously great. It was interactive. I'm not going to tell you the whole thing. Go see it yourself. If you're in New York, of course. And then I saw so many shows. I saw 4 shows, 2 on Broadway. I went to a museum. It was great. And I left feeling more myself than I have in a long time. But part of the reason why I felt so much myself and I felt like I was coming back to my reason for being, a reason for working at least, is, have y'all ever heard of the National Black Theater? I'm sure you have. You know what? If you listen to this podcast, you have. Because we talked about National Black Theater, maybe season 4, maybe. We talked about Barbara Ann Teer. Remember when Renaissance came out? And there is that song, and they're like, we just do different things. We eat different, we drink different, we walk different, we make love different. That was Barbara Ann Teer's voice, and we talked about her. I was like, that is Barbara Ann Teer in the background, the founder of the National Black Theater. Well, Barbara Ann Teer's daughter, Sade Lithcott, has taken over Barbara Ann Teer's legacy and is running the National Black Theater, and they're renovating and building up the building that the National Black Theater was born in on the corner of 5th Avenue and 125th Street. I had the great fortune of being introduced to Sade a few months ago. So when I went to New York this time, I went to go visit her. And she took me to the construction site. You know, I like construction sites. Now that I'm out here building buildings, construction sites are exciting to me. So I went to the construction site for the renovated National Black Theater. And it is this humongous building. The theater section is 4 stories, and then there's this incredible housing on top that will be mostly all affordable, mostly artist housing on the top of this building. Maybe not mostly, I might be being exaggerating. There's gonna be artist housing, but it's mostly affordable housing. And as we were walking around the building, Sade was talking to me about her mother's dreams and how when her mother founded the National Black Theater and she had the the audacity to build this humongous theater, she went to Nigeria, worked with all these artists, brought them back to Harlem, and they were painting their dreams and prayers all over this building as portals for the manifesting of this creative vision, both for their art, but also for their community. And Sade was, like, recounting to me all these conversations that she had had with her mother, all these conversations that her mother was having with the community, all these dreams and visions, the shape of the theater, the size of the theater, all the things that she wanted to do that included both the things that she accomplished as the founder and artistic director of the National Ballet Theater, but also the things that she was not able to accomplish. And when I tell you that Sade, who is a brilliant and magnificent woman in her own right, is building this humongous building and building in the dreams that her mother did not get to complete into this beautiful space. And it is such a portal for ancestry, ancestral dreams, visions of her mother for the future, visions of their community in Harlem for the future. And that's the community that I was born in. My first apartment ever was on a 105th, 135th and Lenox. And that building is like 10 blocks away from literally where I was born. And it was so transformative and wonderful and such a good reminder about why we are doing this work, y'all. Like, why are we talking about building things? Why are we talking about economic development? Why are we talking about the intersection of culture and economy? Why do we even have a Big We podcast? It is because that we believe that our stories are blueprints for our future. That is why I'm like, you should read this book. You should watch this movie. You should listen to this podcast because our stories are literally whispering to us in our dreams and telling us what the future can be. And I have forgotten that. I mean, I guess it's always in the back of my mind, but to be confronted with the literal physical representation of a woman's dreams from 60 years ago, who literally brought ancestral dreams from her ancestral home into my ancestral home of Harlem, USA, and now in 2024, 5, 6 is being manifested into a physical expanded physical space where more stories and more lives and more futures are going to be built. It just was such a beautiful and wonderful coming home to myself and when I was in New York City. And so I'm so grateful to Sade. I'm so grateful to Barbara Ann Tier. I'm so grateful to the National Black Theater. And I'm so grateful to every artist from every community who has ever turned their stories into the future of their folks. That's what's possible for us, y'all. Like, that's what we're here for. That's what we're doing. And that is what we must do because it is the job of the creative both to tell the story of our reality, but also to project this reality of our future. And just everybody who is doing that work, I'm so grateful and I'm so excited that I get to have these conversations with y'all every 2 weeks, 6 months a year. I'm so grateful that I got to see so many amazing stories while I was in New York City. I want to tell you about all of them, but I'm not going to because we don't have that kind of time. Um but yeah, I feel so good and I feel so on purpose, and I am full of joy. It's funny, like, I've been thinking about how busy I've been and how much I've been traveling and how I keep expecting to feel tired and to feel worn out and to feel wrung out, and I wake up every morning like, "Wow, what are we gonna do today? What are we gonna build today? What story are we gonna hear today?" And I'm in this moment where I feel so clear about who I'm becoming and what our work is becoming, and the big we is wow, y'all wait till January. In January, it's gonna be some exciting big we things happening. And I'm so proud. I'm already so proud of the way our team is growing and the way our hearts are growing and the way we are evolving as human beings, as a group. Like, for real, shout out to my Renisha and my Brooke and my Patrice and my Eunice. We are like, wow. Wow, what a life. What a life. I didn't know I was gonna grow up to be this person. I did not grow up. I did not think I was gonna grow up to have this life and to have this work and to have this team and to have this joy and this hope and this certainty in my heart about who we are and who we're becoming. So thank y'all. Thank y'all. I'm grateful to y'all for being a part of our community and to listening to this podcast and to showing up every 2 weeks for 6 months out the year to listen to me talk about these stories and to meet all my friends. Ooh, wait till y'all meet my friend today. Today we're talking to Chester. Chester is such a special human being. I may or may not have met Chester because I internet stalked him. This is not important. It's not important, and you need to mind your business. But it doesn't matter because now we're friends, and he's amazing, and you're gonna love him. He's an actor, singer, dancer, writer, producer. He really is best known for being on Broadway. He started as Jackie Wilson in Jackie Wilson Story on Broadway. He's been in Little Shop of Horrors on Broadway. That's not true. I just lied on that man. He wasn't on Little Shop of Horrors. He was in Hairspray. But we'll talk more about him about him later. Right now, it's time to get into that pop three. You thought I was going to say bum, 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 didn't you? But I didn't. So, pop three. Pop three for season 6, episode 4. When I tell you I'm excited about this pop three, because there are 3 things in this pop three that I am very excited about. The first one, wait till you hear about this. You know who's really excited about this? My sister. Because the first thing on the pop three this week is they're putting out a movie that is a documentary about Luther Vandross's life. Finally, where has the movie been? Why have y'all not done this movie before now? But whatever. We're not going to act like that. We're going to be grateful for everything that we get. The movie is called Luther, Never Too Much. It comes out, it's gonna be in the actual movie theater. It's not like Netflix, Hulu, it'll be on there eventually, but this is gonna be in the movie theater, so you're gonna be able to go and sit and listen to all that music in your ears and dance in your seat and look at the interviews. Never Too Much, it comes out September 30th. I think it comes out October 1st, but there's like previews on the third. You know how they do that. You can like the 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock on the Thursday before. I will be there on the Thursday because I can't wait to see this movie. So make sure you go see it so we can talk about it. It's gonna be amazing. Oh, it's out already if you're listening to this now. So I already saw it. Even though I didn't see it right now in the past, I saw it in the future. I'm reading a book about time travel right now. You'll have to excuse me talking about jumping time. But whatever, go see the movie. The second thing in the pop three, this is the one thing I am going to tell you about my trip to New York. Because of all the stories that I experienced in New York, this is the one that I don't want you to miss. I went to the Whitney Museum and they have this exhibit. It's called Edges of Ailey, and it's about the life and the work of Alvin Ailey. Do y'all know who that is? If you don't know who Alvin Ailey is, I want you to know that I still love you, although I am a little disappointed. It's not your fault. It's your mom and daddy's fault, though. Okay, so Alvin Ailey, Ailey, how do I describe Alvin Ailey? So Alvin Ailey had a dance theater called the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater, which was like the premier, most powerful, popular, pervasive Black dance company in probably still is. If you think about Black dance companies in the world, there is Dance Theater Harlem and there is Alvin Ailey. And those are the two names that you must know. In Memphis, we have our own wonderful Black dance company, and they are now, I think, one of the largest, fastest growing companies in the country. They're called Collage, and we love them so much. So if you don't know about Collage Dance Theater, you look them up. But right now, we're talking about Alvin Ailey. So I grew up going to Alvin Ailey. I lived in, y'all know, I was born in New York, grew up in New Jersey. So we had very easy access to Alvin Ailey. So every year, without fail, as far as I can remember, I went to go see Alvin Ailey, even as a grown person in college, as an adult, because they tour now. So of course, I'm in Atlanta in college. Alvin Ailey comes, I'm going to see Alvin Ailey. I'm living in Memphis. I'm living in LA. I'm living in DC, whatever I'm living, and when Alvin Ailey is coming, I'm going. So I've literally been watching this dance company my whole entire life, and inspired by this man and his vision, inspired by Judith Jamison, their principal dancer at one point, who then became their artistic director after Alvin Ailey passed. I grew up, my father had a photograph of Judith Jamison dancing the dance called Cry in this humongous white skirt. All like Alvin Ailey is in the fabric of my life. And so I go to the Whitney Museum. When I was with Chade, she was like, hey, you want to see something amazing? Go to the Whitney. I just went to the opening. They have this incredible exhibit about Alvin Ailey. And I'm like, I'm in. So I go to the Whitney. I bought my ticket online. I pull up to the Whitney, and there's a sign, and it's like, open to the public. And the sign was like for 4 days from when I was there. It was like I was there like the 21st, and the sign was like, opens on the 25th. And I was like, can I have my money back, please? I went to the lady and I was like, I only came here to see Alvin Ailey. Just not open to the 25th. I want my money back. Well, you can just be a member. And I didn't understand what she was talking about. And eventually she was like, hold on a second. And she looked to her left and to her right, and she was like, come with me. And she snuck me into the exhibit. Now, I wasn't the only one in there. It was a members only event, and they had like people who were members of the museum were getting a preview of it, but I got to go in there, so it was not a lot of people. And I tell you, when the elevator opened up into the exhibit, it is the most beautiful exhibit I've ever seen in my life. In my life. It was a humongous, humongous room. It had LED screens playing this film for the whole time across the whole room. It had images of him, images of the dancers, visual artwork inspired by his work and his legacy. There were handwritten notebooks, notes from like, what do you call those things? Playbills from when he was on Broadway. It was like literally his life in a room, right? And it was so moving and so beautiful. I sat and wept for 30 minutes on a bench. It was just so beautiful, you guys. If you're in New York, or if you get to New York, or if you love dance or Alvin Ailey so much that you want to see this, like this is worth a plane ticket to go to New York. It's never going to happen again. It's beautiful. And when I tell you, I left that exhibit feeling so seen and so transformed. And after I left the exhibit, I went directly to see the last show. I went to a 3:00 matinee of Alicia Keys' Broadway show because my friend Susan, who made me stay, also got me a free ticket. So shout out to Susan. And then I was supposed to go to the airport. So I'm like, I get out the thing at 6:00. I'm walking down the street. There's all these people on the street everywhere because they were having a flea market. The Broadway Cares people, they were selling like old playbills and people's old wardrobes and posters with signatures. And I was like, I don't have time. I have to get to the airport. I was supposed to be at the airport. And I just was walking down the street to go get my bags. And I looked and I saw a little bucket. It said Black Broadway. And I'm like, I'm just going to look at this one bucket. It's going to take me 3 minutes. I'm not going to miss my plane. And I look in the bucket, and the first thing I see, you're not going to believe this. You're not going to believe this. The first thing I see is a vintage playbill of the first Broadway show that Alvin Ailey has ever been in. And I was like, what? The ancestors are in New York right now. They want to talk. Y'all want to talk? Okay, let's go. And I bought that thing. I bought that. There was a minimum. I just gave him whatever money he needed because I just bought the one thing. But I'm telling you, this Alvin Ailey, ugh, it had like pictures of Carmen de Lavalade and Jeffrey Holder and like all the old school Catherine Dunham, all the people that made Alvin Ailey who he is. You got to see this exhibit, y'all. Like if you got to see this. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking about it. I'm gonna stop talking about it. I'm gonna stop talking about it. I love this cup so much. So cute. I'm just gonna keep drinking water the whole time just so you can see my cup. Okay, back to the show. All right, this last thing. Okay, the last thing on the pop 3 today. I'm so very excited about it. You know why? Because it's about Stevie Wonder. And you know how I feel about him? That's like everybody's Uncle Stevie. So Audible, the audiobook platform that is like owned by Amazon, they have created a podcast about Stevie Wonder that's called The Wonder of Stevie. And it's hosted by New York Times Pulitzer Prize winning culture critic Wesley Morris. I don't know this man. He better not do me wrong on this thing either. So the premise of the podcast is there are 5 years starting in 1972 where Stevie Wonder put out 5 albums, some of the most important, impactful music in the history of pop music. It was Music of My Mind in 72, Talking Book also in 72. He had the nerve to put out 2 albums in 1972, and those 2 albums in 73 was Intervisions, Fulfilling His First Finale in 74, and Songs in the Key of Life in 76. Anybody in here who was born after the 1900s, I'm talking about 1972 and 1973 and 1974 and 1976. So don't get confused, okay? So these albums are like literally some of the most important songs of history, and they all came out in this one little set of 5 years. And so they did a podcast just about those 5 years and those 5 albums. And it has Barack Obama, Michelle Obama, Questlove, Smokey Robinson, Janelle Monáe, George Clinton, and all the other people talking about these really, 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 really powerful songs and all that went into making this music. So, you need to listen to it. If you have not listened to these albums, I don't even know what to say if you have not listened to those albums. I think I should say, what a wonderful opportunity for you to expand your heart and your music library and go listen to those 5 albums. I'm going to say them one more time so that you can write them down or go and look them up. They're Music of My Mind, Talking Book, Inner Visions, Fulfilling This First Finale, and Songs in the Key of Life. I guarantee you that you know half the songs. Even if you never heard those album titles, I guarantee you that you know these songs, okay? And they're amazing songs. So go listen to the Wonder of Stevie podcast on Audible. You're going to love it. I am loving it. It is telling me everything I needed to know about my life, okay? Great. So that's our pop 3 for the week. It's time to talk to Chester. Okay, so I already told you about Chester. He's amazing. I want to talk to Chester about his community, his chess community, his work, and his vision for his future. So, here we go. Let's talk to Chester. Welcome, Chester, to the podcast. Welcome to the Big We Podcast, Chester. Welcome to my world.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you here, actually, because you are somebody who I really love and respect quite a bit. And you're somebody who I feel like embodies very deeply our theme of love this season. And so I'm really, really, really happy that you're here. Thank you for saying yes.
Thank you for including me in the message of love. That's important. That's what it's all about.
That's what it's
Listen,
all
like
about.
they say in that show, Moulin Rouge, right? The greatest gift you'll ever learn is just to love and be loved in return.
And be loved in return.
That's
You
it.
better preach, Pastor, right now. Yes.
That's it.
One of my favorite things about you, Chester, is that you were born in Gary, Indiana.
That's right.
I feel like that is, what is that word? it's like a good omen that you're born in Gary, Indiana?
I
Do
kinda see
people
it that
know
way,
where
right?
do you?
Yeah. I do,
Tell me
yeah,
about your
because
life in Gary. Tell me about why.
imagine growing up in Gary, Indiana when Michael Jackson's at his prime, you know what I mean? So, like,
Mm,
that has just been, uh that was a dream come true, just like, "What? Here's this man from Gary, Indiana, who is inspiring people all over the world, and here I am from this city where people are either aiming to go that trajectory in their own way, or they're shooting and killing people."
mm.
So I decided to go the
Oof.
route of inspiring people. Yeah, but it was commonplace in Gary for me to grow up with friends being violently killed every single
Mm,
week. So,
mm,
yeah.
mm. Why what was it a conscious choice for you to choose? Were you like, "I'm gonna go that way, not that way?" Did you have a conversation with yourself, or was it circumstantial?
It was a little bit of both, just seeing how influential he was and just knowing that
Mm,
he was from that city, from my hometown, made me feel a connection to him and made me feel like, this was a message for me to find how to do, a similar thing in my own way. And I realized,
mhm,
Michael had that impact on everybody. That's why he was so special because it made it seem like he was doing something like just for you. There was an energy that you felt tapped into. And so, I realized that that's, the beauty of being an artist that transcends is that there's
yep.
something universal and personal at the same time.
Hmm, that's so nice. Did you already know that you could sing and dance and write and do all those other things, or were you like, "I'm about to figure out how to do that"?
I knew that I had a love for it, but the skill, was something that was acquired over time. So I'm very
Mm.
grateful because my mom didn't lie to me. You know what I mean? When she first heard me sing, she was like, "Oh, you want to sing? Okay, well, you need some voice lessons." You know what I'm saying? Like, and she put me in voice lessons. You know what I mean? So like, she
Mhm.
never told me, "Oh, that's great," just because it's me. It was like, "Oh, okay, well, that needed some work," or the middle wasn't good, or just gave me constructive criticism that really helped me to become better. So yeah.
Well, we all know you're a Sagittarius, and you would not accept anything less than the harsh truth about your talent. You would never want
Exactly,
nobody
right,
to
yeah,
lie to
tell me the
you.
truth.
Tell
Yeah.
me the truth, because 'cause Imma tell you whether you like it or not, so you better tell me.
There it is, right,
You better tell me.
and that's on
Uh-huh.
Leo, right.
Mm, I was about to I was about to make a hand symbol, and I'm like, "What is a hand symbol for Leo?" I have no idea. I don't know what you do, but I will make something up before we get off the phone. It's gonna be alright.
Oh, okay, yeah, I don't
There is not one. There's
sign
no
language is
hand signs,
Leo.
but there
That's
is
how
a
you spell
sign
it.
language sign for Leo because Chris
I'm
Corsini
sure there
does it
is.
every
It probably has
time.
something to do with a crown or a lion or something.
You know what? I
Right.
feel like he does that. I feel like he's definitely does this all the time. Imma look it up. Imma look it up. Okay,
Mhm.
tell me I was just, talking to the beautiful Big We audience about my time in New York last week. I went to see, like, 1,000 Broadway shows. Um, Tell me about your life on Broadway. How
My
did you end
life
up on
on
Broadway? Do you know that was, like, my dream as a child? I was like, "I'm gonna be on Broadway 5, 6, 7, 8," but I didn't do that. You did it. How did you do that?
um, it was, something that I definitely my mom took me to plays and shows and all the other kind of
Yeah.
stuff, so, imagine being a child seeing Stephanie Mills, do The Wiz and all of that stuff, so that was, you know, witnessing something that's, like, iconic and not even knowing
Yep.
how iconic it was in the moment,
That's
but
right.
still feeling it.
Yep.
So just performing and all of that stuff was just always a outlet for me and always, something I greatly loved and appreciated. However,
Mm.
I didn't go into it, like, saying, "Oh, I wanna be on Broadway." I just loved
Yeah.
performing on stage and wanted to always do stage and film and all that. And so Broadway kind of just happened when I was doing a show called The Jackie Wilson Story, and it ran for 3 years and all of this stuff, and it went into New York, and then from that led, to Broadway opportunities and stuff, but, like, I didn't really see that at the time.
Uh-huh.
I was just grateful to be, you know, performing and really just putting my all into it and having fun at the same time, doing the most, you
I
know?
didn't I did not realize that, that show you were doing and it ended up on Broadway. That's amazing. What
Yeah,
did
yeah,
you
yeah,
feel
so
like
the
when
show
people were
ended up at the
like
Apollo Theater.
right.
So it ended up at the Apollo
When
Theater,
they
and that's how I
told
was
you
seen by Broadway producers and stuff, and then I went in and auditioned,
oh.
and then from that, like, the producers of Hairspray saw me, and you know, they pretty much snatched me right on up and had to move to New York to be in the show, like, 2 weeks later, so
Holy crap. Where were you living at the time?
I was living in Chicago.
Were you freaking out when they were like, "Hey, can you move to New York to be in a Broadway show?" Were you freaking out?
Um, yes, but it also felt like a relief because it was like I was looking for
Oh.
work, consistent work
Mm.
at the time, and, the show was kinda having more spot dates at the time, and we didn't have anything slated. That was, like, the end of our run at the Apollo. So it was like,
Oh.
"Okay, now I need to try to figure something out." And then,
Yep.
that happened, but I had to move to New York, so I was like, "Alright, well, this is something exciting, let's go. You know, alright, let's
Yeah, you
go,"
was ready to go.
Yeah.
Yes. How has your craft and your hunger for storytelling changed over the years? Because you've done so many things since then. Like how is it showing up for you now?
I let's see, so I've always kinda saw them as interconnected, so whether
Hmm,
it
say
be
more.
stage, film, TV, whatever, right? I would say in recent years, how it's changed is I started creating a lot more content and enjoying that
Yeah.
and enjoying expressing my own ideas and displaying them in real time and then seeing, how they go, seeing people react to it in real time. So that has been great.
Mm.
And with producing my own work and, honoring my own ideas, it's made me less tolerant of other people's bad ideas. Not that all my ideas are great or anything like that by any means, but
Yep.
before I was more tolerant of, doing somebody else's work, even though I could really see that it was really bad, but I needed the
Yeah.
check, I needed the money, I needed to, what I
Yeah.
mean, or whatever it was.
Yep.
But now I'm at a space now where I want to honor great work that I feel
Mhm.
has a lot of integrity behind it, and honor, more of my own story in some ways too. So yeah.
Mhm. What made you start doing content online on Instagram?
So that started when, during the pandemic. So
Yep.
everybody was in their homes and all of that stuff, and it was an introvert's paradise. I'm actually an introvert. So I enjoyed being alone. Everybody didn't nobody have to go out, nothing like that. And so I used that time to sort of develop a relationship with the camera and kind of imagine I was talking to a close friend.
Mm.
So even though I'm an introvert, but around my close friends, I'm silly or whatever, you know what I mean? And so started doing that like periodically, but then it really kicked off for me when I started doing a wellness challenge. I called it March to Wellness, and I did daily
Yep.
check-ins. Um, and then realizing the impact of the daily check-ins, where people like, "Oh, I need this. I'm glad you're able
Mm.
to do this." I then challenged myself to continue after March to continue just to do, to share my ideas and to share content and things like that. And
Yep.
then seeing it grow and then trusting my intuition more was really
Mm.
um, important for my own well being. And so that, I've been enjoying it quite a bit.
How did you learn how to trust your own intuition? That is such a big part of loving yourself, is just being like, yes, I know myself and I trust myself. How on earth did you do that?
From being lied to a lot, actually.
Mm.
So what so
Yep.
how this kind of happened is I there was a period in time when I felt disconnected from my intuition, and I felt
Mm,
I I was longing for that connection again, just
mm,
to have that knowing with me, that presence, and I was in a relationship where, I was being lied to a lot, and
mm.
I could feel that that it was lies, but I wasn't trusting
You
myself. So,
mm.
through a lot of pain and a lot of, betrayal and a lot of investigating on my end, trying to
Yep,
fix and all of this stuff, I then
yep.
ultimately realized that, oh, what I was feeling, what I was thinking, what my intuition was telling me was 100% right. Okay, now I know that I can really just lean into it all the way. So it took that experience to really
Mm,
take me to the other side, which is now being
mm.
tapped in. So now I don't need any evidence. I don't need
Nope,
to see what the end is going to be. When I feel it in that moment is what I'm gonna go with. You know what I mean? So
I
yeah, so
do.
that's sort of how, you know what I mean? And so I'm sure it's probably different from other people's story. They might say they did a lak lak and sat, with their legs crossed and palms up and just
You was
breathing
just
that
getting lied to.
connection. Sometimes it can happen when you out of a traumatic experience or after like
Yeah,
being betrayed or lied to or whatever it is. It's like, oh, wait a minute. Okay. I knew that. You know what I mean? And so, but oftentimes we use it like we can use it as a negative too, just be like, oh, I knew that. And then you
yeah,
apply that to everybody rather than just saying, wait,
yep,
okay, let me just take it, moment to moment. So that with sharing the content and kind of seeing it resonate in a way that people felt heard and seen, it
yep.
was important for me to rather than me saying, hey, look at me, see me, hear me, or whatever. It's been more about me saying, hey, I see you, and people picked up on that. And another thing that's been a through line is me taking a moment to always, be in gratitude and kind of say
Mm.
like a silent meditation or prayer to myself. And then before I do any art, perform, whatever, people say those words to me verbatim without me ever saying out loud. So, yeah,
Wow. Yep.
yeah.
You are one of the things I've learned about you in the time that I've gotten to know you is that you have magical powers. You are like one of those people who you like speak chair and then the chair falls out your mouth. It's one of my favorite things about you.
Thank
and and the thing that's
$1,000,000,
so
$1,000,000,
wonderful.
$10,000,000.
No, you're supposed to say world peace, Chester. World peace.
World peace. Mm. Mm. Some world
Yep.
dollars. No, I'm not playing, but go ahead.
um, one of the things that I have observed over the I don't even know how long it's been since I discovered you on it's been was it during the pandemic? When did you do that live with that really funny, very talented singing ass man? What's his name? Titus. When did you do
Oh,
that
wow,
live
that
with him?
was
Remember that?
yeah, that was like, ooh, at
Was it
least a
during
couple years
pandemic,
ago.
during lockdown?
That was during the pandemic, yeah.
That was the first time I ever saw you online. And I
Oh,
and
wow,
I
okay.
feel like you were talking about your music and y'all were talking about acting, and I was like, listen to your music, and I'm like, I'm gonna follow him. I like this music. Who is this person?
Mhm.
And so I've been watching you online since then, and then I've gotten to know you over the past few months. And the thing that I really appreciate about you is that your magical powers are not just for you. Like, you think that they're not just for you. You are like, it's not me that's magical. We're magical. Come be magical with me. And I really appreciate that about you. And I want to understand like your relationship as a teacher. I feel like you're a teacher, Chester. As much as you are a storyteller, I feel like you're a teacher. Do you feel like that?
Yeah, I enjoy working with people. I enjoy helping
Yeah.
people, inspiring them, and so
Mhm.
it's kind of all interconnected. My mom was a teacher for my whole life,
That's right. That's right.
and so I got a chance to see her in real action. And then I got a chance to do it in practice as well because I was a teacher for like almost 10 years in the public school system. So
Oy.
that
In
was,
Chicago?
another, huh?
In Chicago?
In East Chicago, Indiana. Yeah,
Uh-huh. Understood. Mhm.
yeah.
Yes.
So that was a great experience as well. And yeah, I've always been doing coachings and
Yep.
lessons and that kind of thing. And, I've enjoyed it. I enjoy being an integral part in people's lives to help them become their best selves. You know,
Mm. How much does your storytelling ability come in to play as a teacher and a coach?
I think it's all about listening.
Mm.
So listening to what they're saying and then sort of like how I see it is, finding a connect between what they're saying and or disconnect between what they're saying and what they need to do in order for that to happen. So, and then I also feel like a great part of teaching, coaching, art even is listening again because and I heard Michael Jackson talk about this too, where it's like a song, you don't have to sit down and write the song. You just have to
That's right.
like listen to it
That's right.
and allow it to kind of flow. So I
That's
kind of
right.
I use that approach, with most things. So it's just listening to
Yep.
what the moment is.
I feel like everything I've ever written has just been a transcription. I don't know what people mean when they're like, "I wrote this thing, I don't understand what that means." I'm like, I don't know how people write because I just if I write something, it's because I heard it and I'll just like, let me write that down. I don't know whose that was.
Hmm.
But I agree with you 100%. 100%. I want you to talk to us about your community because your combination of your storytelling and your intuitive work and this want to be able to support other people become their best selves has led to something called the chessboard.
Yes, indeed. We have the
That I feel like
chessboard.
we should be talking about the chessboard.
Let's go. Let's go. We have
Come on,
a
tell us about it.
we're launching October 10th. We
Uh-huh.
have enhanced the community, though we've already been a community for 6 months now. We are doing a relaunch where we have enhanced the programs. I have refilmed all of the course modules. And we have a
Really?
program. Yeah, we have a program that people are going to take when they start. So, and
Mhm.
then we have level up rewards and things like that. Those are all different. So the chessboard is a community of like-minded people who are either looking for a pivot in their careers, huh? Or they're just looking
See, I
to,
was going I was gonna keep a straight face, Chester, not say nothing
yeah,
about it. But yes,
yeah,
as you know, I
yeah,
know.
yeah. And or people who are just looking to connect with a greater sense of purpose in their work
Mhm.
and or in their lives. And
Yep.
so we start them out with the concept called cycle of alignment, which is kind of how you go through different chapters of life, your moon era, your earth era, and your sun era. So your moon era is when things just don't appear to be working out. So we
Mm,
give you a regimen of what to do during that period and to let you know that it's a natural part of the process. And
that's
then what to
right.
do to then move to the next phase, which is your earth phase when things feel more balanced. And then your
Mm,
sun phase when you're just manifesting. Now, what's different in what I teach as opposed to maybe some other people in the wellness community. Is like they feel like you're just going to be on your sun and you're right, and you're just going to
Forever.
just keep
That's
be a
right.
manifesting machine. I
Yep.
am here to let you know that that's not how it works. You'll go back to a moon phase and and then repeat the cycle over and over again. That's why it's called cycle of alignment because it's always in alignment with something. So
That's
you
right.
do that, you know, time and time again. So you may be in a sun phase in your relationships, but in a moon phase in your
Mm.
finances.
Mm.
So it's
I
about,
did not like that. I did
or
not
vice
like
versa,
that.
right? There's a lot of people I know who are
Right?
incredibly successful and
That's right.
financially successful and all of that,
Yep.
but then they don't see the through line and how this can apply to relationships. So it's
Yep.
dealing with all of those things, but also you get a community of like-minded people who are
Mm.
supporting you. We're all learning new things together, and the ebbs and flows that happen daily in this world, in this messed up world. So it's a place you can always tap into and get a
Yeah.
resurgence of positive energy, of new information, and a wealth of a library of course modules and resources to
Yep.
help you be your best self at all times.
Yeah. I'm I'm sitting here smiling because as you of course you know, I've been a part of the chessboard community. At least I was very, very engaged at the beginning. And my life is doesn't allow me to be very engaged in anything right now because I don't know. I think I'm in a sun phase at work, Chester. I'm in
You
a
are,
sun
yeah.
phase at work. And so I don't have a lot of room for other things, but it is to be able to be in a space online or on Zoom or whatever with a group of people who are like focused on each other's growth. That is just feels like a really rare and special thing, and so I have had moments where I've been very grateful for the chessboard space, and I know that some of the other members, like, really have begun to depend on that space for, like, relational nurturing from other people, and you don't have to explain, right, what it is that you're here for. You can just be there for each other. It's really beautiful. Because I know you've been piloting it for 6 months now. It's been a long time. 6 months is a long time.
Yeah.
How has this 6 months holding a community of people who are growing and healing and learning together changed you, or what are you learning as in that container for yourself as you're
What I
working to
love
help other
about
people
teaching and
learn things
coaching is
about
that you
themselves?
what I love about teaching and coaching is that you learn twice, right? So you learn
Mm,
initially when you are given the information, but then when you share it, it's a reminder again. But then also, it is you have to practice as well, like what you're preaching. So it's a reminder to yourself. So you not only like I don't
how is
believe in
that for
just
you?
you should do this or you should do that, and I'm not doing it myself. So
Uh-huh.
it's always constant reminders for myself as well as I learn new things as well. So like sometimes I'm learning while I'm teaching, and or while I'm
Mm,
coaching because I'm hearing something. Then a
mm,
new problem is presented that I may not have thought of before or whatever it
yeah.
is, and then a solution comes to me in that moment. And
Mm,
so I'm just really, a vessel, and kind of just letting it flow. And then I'm learning like, wow, and this kind of, intuitive approach is what I enjoy most about my style of teaching and coaching is that
that's right.
there's no necessarily preconceived notion of what we're going to do. Sure, now we have an agenda, we have plans, we have homework, things like that, but there's an ebb and flow with how it's going to you know, how the session is going to go. Like say for example, you may think,
Mm,
we're going to have a session talking about, the language of money or something like that. But in the middle of our session, some emotional things come up
mm,
in your relationship or whatever, right? So we may
mm.
end up talking more about that. You know what I mean? So like I always leave room to honor what needs to happen in the moment. So yeah.
Wow. I'm so happy that whoever that was lying to you so much, so now you can use your intuition to help all of us heal.
Right, right, right. Yeah. Yes. Woo. I wouldn't
I'm
wish
so
that on
sorry that
nobody,
you were.
but I am glad to be tapped in. So yeah.
It's interesting. I was one of my team members, Renisha. We have been talking a lot about. We've been encountering a lot of people who lie at work, like, and we just call them lying liar who lies, lying liars who lie, because it is something about the state of humanity right now where people feel like lying is a thing that is required for them to get through the day, and they can't show up any other way. It is
Mm-mm.
astounding to me, the ways that people are not able to, and to me, it's not even about being a liar, it's about being somebody who's not able to be transparent, who's scared to just show the truth of themselves.
Right.
And it is, it is to me the worst part of where we are right now in this moment in humanity is like the number of people that don't feel safe just being who it is that they are. And that is one of the things I loved about the chessboard is that that does not show up in that space. There is no
Hmm.
room to hide at the chessboard. You just show up
Yeah.
and you have to be yourself. And when you try not to, Chester will be like, Anasa, I just want you, I see you on the screen. What do you have to say today? And I'll be like, I was trying to hide today, Chester. Why are you saying
I'm
my
like,
name
nope,
out loud?
ain't no hiding up in here.
It's no hiding. You got to lean in, and I think that that's what we need right now. We need that a lot. A lot of people need that. It's amazing. What's next for you, Chester? What are you dreaming about?
I'm really excited about our launch, 10/15, October 15th. I'm working on
Yes.
some new music
Are
under my name
you
Chess as acronym Chess. Yeah, the next album is in development now. I've had a conversation early with my team. I'm doing more
amazing?
performances with orchestras and concerts and things throughout the nation.
Mm.
Um, and I am working with this independent network called Brandon TV, BTV.
Mhm.
It's like a competitor of Zeus. So I am in development here. We work on a lot of different shows,
Yep.
um, and they're moving to do like more scripted episodes as well. So yeah, it's exciting. So there's a lot.
Nice.
There's a lot going on.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Look at you. I love it. I love it. Well, you deserve all of it because you give so much to other people, Chester. You deserve all of it. And you're amazing. And you know we love you. You
Oh,
know
thank
that.
you. Thank you. I love you too.
Yes, you know. Well, thank you for coming and talking to me today.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Anytime. You're always welcome at the Big We Podcast, Chester. Always. Okay, I owe you a phone call. I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna text you. Tell you so we can catch up.
Okay, for sure. For sure. All right.
All right. I'll talk to
All
you
right. Take care.
soon.
All right.
Don't you just love him? He's the best. Thank you, Chester. I love you so much. I'm so happy we're friends. He's the best. He's the best. He's the best. Well, I guess that's all I have to say about that. I do want to give you a coming soon, and I want to apologize because the last couple episodes, I feel like I've skipped this section. I have not given you something to look forward to. But today we're going to do it because I remembered. So our coming soon today, y'all, this is exciting. It's exciting. Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan are coming back together and they're putting out a movie next year and it's called Sinners. I just want to tell you, I'm not going to see it. Because it's scary. Why does everybody want to do scary movies right now? I'm so tired of these scary movies. I don't like them. I'm scared. I don't want them to do a scary movie, but fine. I'm going to see it. Michael B. Jordan and Ryan Coogler. Of course I'm going to go see it. But let me tell you, like the little tagline is like, dance with the devil and he'll follow you home. I don't want the devil to follow me home, Michael and Ryan. I don't want to watch him. Okay, I'll watch it. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it. I love y'all so much. I'm going to watch your scary movie. Also, Ruth Carter's involved somehow. She's posting about it, so I'm assuming she did all the costumes. Y'all remember Ruth Carter is the Academy Award winning wardrobe artist who did all of the wardrobe for Black Panther and for Wakanda Forever. So y'all already know her work. She's amazing. And she has a book out too. And she had an exhibit, I think, at the Met. Anyway, Ruth Carter's involved. So we're gonna all be there on opening night, even though it's gonna scare us and we're gonna cry and have bad dreams the next night. night. It's cool. Thanks, Ryan, for my nightmares. Yeah, so that's it, y'all. I'm gonna go. I love y'all so much. So much. Y'all know that this is a Big We production. And that if you want to know more about the Big We, you can go to our website, thebigwe.com. You can go on our Instagram. You can go on our Facebook. You can text me at 901-676-7372. Amazing, big, wonderful shout out love to Walter at Sunstorm Studio and Tim from Boom Cane Creative. Thank you so much to Martheus for our beautiful, cute. Martheus got me looking real cute this season, y'all, in our little cartoon thumbnails that he puts on the internet. Thank you, Martheus. And amazing shout out to our producer, Renisha Mays on the Big We team. And also to our Big We family at Claiborne Temple and the foundation of all those people that we love and love and love and love and love. This season, we're calling from the House of Love, and we love you so much, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.